Hello class, and welcome to week 12 and a brief recap of chapter 10. In chapter 10 we examine the source of legal ethics and the reasons that the public seems to have such a poor opinion of the ethics of legal professionals, especially lawyers. And guess what? The lawyers are upset. Why? Because they believe this is an alarming new trend. But in reality, in general, people just don't like lawyers. The American Bar Association is so concerned that they recently appointed a special panel to investigate the legal profession's bad image. The California State Bar commissioned a survey to find out why so many people dislike lawyers. They said, "We wish to reassure lawyers, however, this wave of anti-lawyer feeling is not new. People have always hated you, so get over it." One might expect that the public's respect and trust for legal professionals as guardians of the justice system would be high, but that is not the case. Perhaps the best explanation for the long-standing distrust of lawyers is that they typically represent trouble, kind of like when you see the flashing red lights of the black and white police car in your rearview mirror. People don't require a lawyer or cop unless they believe they need help. Some say the distrust of lawyers stems from their ability to take either side in a controversy. Also, the advocacy role that attorneys embrace at times can justify what appears to be, and even may be, unethical behavior. Now, this is particularly true when it comes to attorney-client relationships. While true mostly of defense attorneys, prosecutors are not without controversy when it comes to topics like plea bargaining. Further, you learn in this chapter that there are crucial differences in the duties and ethical responsibilities of defense attorneys and prosecutors. The role of the defense attorney is to protect the due process rights of the defendant. Due process is supposed to minimize mistakes in judicial proceedings that might result in deprivation of life, liberty, or property. Due process rights, including notice, neutral fact finders, cross-examination, and presentation of evidence and witnesses, are supposed to minimize the risk of error. The defense attorney is there during the important steps of the process to ensure that these rights are protected. For instance, during the interrogation to make sure no coercion is used, at a lineup to make sure it is fair and unbiased, and during the trial to ensure adequate cross-examination and presentation of evidence. However, this pure role of advocate is contradictory to the reality that the defense attorney must, if he or she is to work with the other actors in the court system, accommodate their needs as well as those of the client. The prosecutor's goal is justice, which should imply an objective pursuit of truth. However, we know that in a few cases the only goal seems to be winning. Prosecutors do not serve an individual client. Rather, their client is the system or society itself. Pursuit of justice, rather than the pursuit of the best interests of the client, characterizes the aims of the prosecutor. As the second line of decision-makers in the criminal justice system, prosecutors have extremely broad powers of discretion. The prosecutor acts like a strainer. He or she collects some cases for formal prosecution while eliminating a great many others. Prosecuting every case would be impossible. Resources are limited, and in some cases the evidence is weak, making it unlikely to win a conviction. Early diversion of such cases saves taxpayers money and saves individuals trouble and expense. Typically, a state code of criminal procedure provides standards for prosecutors. In addition, the state may have a code of professional responsibility that specifically mentions prosecutors' duties. There are also national prosecution standards promulgated by the National District Attorneys Association. For example, Model Rule 3.8 covers the duties of prosecutors. And finally, Chapter 3 of the ABA Standards for Criminal Justice covers the prosecution function. Now, if you are interested in learning more, you can access these standards at their website. Here you will find topics similar to those for defense attorneys, but they also make special note of the unique role of the prosecutor as a representative of the court system and of the state. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for listening, and please continue with this week's assignment.